Edward of Woodstock was born on June 15, 1330, at Woodstock Palace, the oldest son of King Edward III and Queen Philippa of Hainault. From the beginning, he was the crown jewel of the Platinian dynasty, a child of destiny in a turbulent age. Europe was changing, and England and France were sliding into a conflict that would last over a century, the Hundred Year War. Edward III envisioned an empire, and he trained his son not only to inherit the crown, but to conquer one. At age 7, Edward was crowned Prince of Wales, the traditional title of the English heir. His first test came at the Battle of Crécy, where a small English army stood its ground against the might of France's feudal host. Unnumbered and far from home, the English would fight and win, one of the most decisive battles of the Hundred Years' War. Edward halted near the village of Crécy and prepared for battle. He chose his ground wisely. High, dry terrain. He placed his English longbowmen at the ends. These skilled longbowmen formed a defensive position in 3 divisions. The Prince of Wales, only 16, commanded one of them. History would remember him as the Black Prince. The French were led by King Philip VI, and this defeat was one of the worst defeats in the French history. All of the French nobility got defeated, most of them massacred. Their whole cavalry was destroyed. The muddy ground, English strike, and Leicester's longbow turned charge into chaos. Horses fell, knights were pinned under armor, and English took the field. His name and reputation. So there's not much knowledge why his name is the Black Prince. Some say it's because of his armor that you can see here that has black colors. The others say that it's because of what he did to the French in the Battle of Crécy and Poitiers later on. But the name stuck, and with it, Edward the Black Prince was crowned one of the finest knights of the time, a knight that would go on to win many battles. The next big battle for him, it was the Battle of Poitiers. 10 years after the stunning English victory at Crécy, the French prepared for revenge. But the Battle of Poitiers, history repeated itself. Only this time, the cost was even greater. A king would be captured, and the power of the English longbow proven once again. The Black Prince led a small English army deep into southwest of France, where he would be looting and provoking French into an open battle. On September 19, 1356, the two armies met. The French were outnumbered, but English again used the well-positioned defending narrows, wooden area with hedgerows, ditches, and natural choke points. The Black Prince prepared for defensive battle, placing his longbowmen on the flanks and his men at the center. In this battle, he would again beat the French, and the same tactics used 10 years ago at Crécy. Him took the field, and after that, he will be named with honors as the Prince of Aquitaine. So Aquitaine, a region in France, he was granted rule over it after his victories. His court became a beacon of chivalry and culture, drawing poets, knights, and artists. But beneath the splendor, cracks were forming. To fund his campaign, Edward imposed heavy taxes, and people started to rebel. They couldn't take the injustices any longer. He was getting gravely ill from the stress of leading it, and then he declined and met his death in 1376. He was buried at Westminster. He was only 45 years old. He was, at the time, the whole country was heartbroken. He was one of the great English lords and warriors that they believed comes once in 1,000 years, and he does. He's one of the greatest English heroes. The constant battles and war took a toll on his body. And after him, Edward the Black Prince, his son, Edward, also named named Richard II, he was not on par with the Black Prince's might. What if he lived longer? What kind of history could have written? What kind of monarchy would he built? England would definitely be greater than it was. In English history, Edward, the Black Prince, remains a tragic figure. A figure that won battles, captured territories, but died very young, at the age of 45, and could not achieve its full potential. This was History in 5 Minutes and a story about Edward the Black Prince. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.